Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I am Dustin. We are looking at Palantir once again. And the only question we need to ask ourselves is what's next for Palantir? What is next? Because we have come off of an incredible high very recently. Today we were down 1.85%. It doesn't change the fact that we have some massive gains recently put into Palantir. We're still over $18, which is massive. If you think about it, at the end of October, we were somewhere around 14 and a half. You can see now, though, we do have some go long signals on the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. We still have those go short signals there from that previous down move that we were experiencing. If we look at the overall trend, we are still bearish in the short term. Looks like 2 days confirmed for me, though. I do start to flip and pay attention to that. We are still bearish in terms of the intermediate term. We do not see any bullishness reflecting just yet. Obviously, we haven't even really broken any highs. If you look at it, we're still at 1889. The high back here, if we look, what was the high? It had to be higher than that. We were at 1999. So back on August 1st, we hit 1999. So we really would expect a breakout of any substantial substance here to include not only volume, which we obviously have seen, but to include a move higher than that. So we do want to see, at least in the trend, want to see if it goes from bearish to bullish. We do see on the longer term, we do have one bull. We want to see the 2 days of that in a row. Obviously need to see it continue. We do have a falling bear in the sentiment, which is really interesting. It looks like we are losing sentiment. So the move that we've experienced, not sure exactly what the reason was, but it looks like it may not have a lot of follow through. We'll find out. Obviously, we are getting what looks like a 1 month bull trigger, which is I like. It's a new signal that I just made for myself. And then if I look, I'm getting for the bull Q3, which I think is a very good signal actually when you're thinking about the follow through potentially. Let's look at the charts here at Palantir. We can see the daily. It's more up close. Obviously, again, we want to break that 20 level. If we don't break 20, it's really not going to be something that we can respect. Obviously, we could come back down to this 14 and a half. We could maybe bounce here to what is 1850, maybe even a little bit lower potentially, maybe even to like 18. But it doesn't look like we are making a ton of progress. We are rolling over in our daily sentiment. That's not great to see. We're still above the 50%, but the 15-day moving average is definitely below, or definitely above the bullishness. It doesn't look like things are going great. When we can see the volume here, the volume looks like it is actually continuing to break out, but not at the same highs that we probably saw back in August. Actually, we think about it being August 1st was the biggest volume day. It's kind of ironic that it wasn't a big volume day now that you look at it. You see the first had 100 million shares traded. Obviously, nothing compared to the 170 million shares that we just saw traded just the other day while we saw that big breakout. We can see the volatility. It looks to be resetting, which is interesting. It'll probably start to actually break out and rise soon. You see it usually makes these hills. It usually will rise and then fall down. Usually it can make a big hill, it can make a small hill, it can make some kind of weird looking hills with the way that the volatility goes. But you do look at the blue bar, which is the correlation of price. So you would expect that as the volatility breaks back out, that you'd want to see the correlation start to rise with it. So it's actually kind of nice that it's negative right now. You'd like to see this kind of a move where it rises into the high, which was very similar to what it did in August, which you can see here's the second, here was the first. We were obviously rising off of the bottom here. Not specifically sure what correlation or what volatility was doing, but it looks like it was this period here where it started to like break out at the very end of the month, just as correlation is going positive. So we would like to see that going into the rest of the year. Essentially, now we have November and December, so we're going to get a lot of like holidays around. So we do want to just expect that we see just general momentum. Don't need to be followed through in volatility and volume specifically. We would like to see it. Look at the top of the range here in Palantir. It looks like it's at 1984. We're getting close. You have to at least respect that. The bottom here is at 1358. I honestly think you're probably going to get closer to the bottom than the top. If you see the top continue to break out, we would like to see it break the top here at 21, even the top of the range. Obviously, you want the price to break that price, but you want to see the range get up there too, and that's really powerful. If you look at the ultra fast sentiment, it's still getting really negative, just like the daily sentiment. It's at the 50% line. The 15-day moving average is definitely rolling over. This is one of those things that you want to respect, but this might be an opportunity. Hopefully, if it kind of bases in like the mid 40s as opposed to where it looks here at the low 40s in September, which is like it's really not where you want to be. You can see here, this is really where that was. This is when we're looking at that indicator again in the low 40s. You really don't want to be there because that is not conducive for price demand or like price rise. So you just want to be really conscious. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is it even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox, stocks between $5 and $20 breaking out, stocks breaking out to 1 year highs, stocks breaking out to all-time highs. It is a great list to get your trading week started and review on a Sunday before you get prepared for your Monday. I will talk to you soon.